Hey, Highlanders, this is Mrs. Like from the counseling office, and I am getting to join you today because we are going to do some reviewing of your graduation requirements and start showing you how to track your own progress toward graduation. All right, so let me just walk through that real quick. So, your objectives for today is you'll be able to become familiar with your graduation requirements. We will review the classes that you've taken and update your graduation checklist. And then you'll be able to identify what classes you need to take for the 21-22 school year because we will be starting registration this week. All right, so let's do a review of your graduation requirements. So for the class of 2024, how many credits do you need for your diploma? You need 26 credits. So let's figure out how you get those 26 credits. One trimester long class is equal to half a credit. So if you have 5 classes per trimester, 0.5 times 5 equals 2.5 credits. So each trimester, you have the opportunity to earn up to 2.5 credits. There are 3 trimesters in a year. So after 1 year of high school, you should have earned 7.5 credits. And then 4 years of high school means that you have the opportunity to earn up to 30 possible credits over 4 years of high school. So 30 possible, although the requirement is 26 total. However, you can't just earn any 26 credits and get a diploma. There are really specific categories that you need to earn those credits in. So I want to walk you through that a little bit. So in the area of language arts, you need 4 credits. That means that every single year of high school, you'll be taking a core language arts class to earn those credits. In the area of math, you need up to 3 credits. Most of you will be taking math 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. And then the majority of you will probably choose to take a 4th year of math as well to ensure that you're college ready. In the area of social studies, you'll start taking your core social studies requirements as sophomores. So most of you probably haven't had a social studies class yet. You need to earn 1.5 credits of PE and a half a credit of health. You'll be tackling both of those this year. And then in the area of science, you need 3 credits of science. So this year, most of you are taking biology, and then you'll continue on in 10th and 11th grade taking more science. And of course, science is always an option for your senior year as well. Then we have classes that are in the category of career and tech ed. So CTE is sometimes what those are referred to. And students need to earn up to 1 credit or 2 trimester long classes to fulfill that requirement. And then also students need to earn 2 credits of fine arts, although there's a little bit of flexibility in there that I'll talk about in a bit. But most students will earn 2 full credits of fine arts. And the category of world language. Again, most students will end up taking 2 credits of world language at least, although again, this is a category that is a little bit more flexible. So I'll explain that in a minute. And then every student also needs electives. So let's give some examples. All right, so what are a few examples of a fine arts class that you would take at Hazen? Just to name a few, we have ceramics, visual communications, metal design, band, choir, drama, and there are lots of others that students might be taking even right now that count as fine arts. To differentiate a bit, what are some examples of a career and tech ed class? Just a few, although this is not a comprehensive list at all. We offer classes called industrial technology, aerospace, construction, business law, child development, culinary, and many more. All right, students ask me this all the time. How do I earn elective credits? So let's take the example of career and tech ed classes. So let's say that I'm a student and I am taking construction. So I'm going to mark off 1 box for that trimester long construction class. in the area of career and tech ed. And then let's say I also take the business law class. Well, that also counts as a career and tech ed class. So now I have technically fulfilled the full requirement in the area of career and tech ed. But let's say I also end up taking culinary arts. Well, I've already finished checking off the boxes for career and tech ed. So I'm going to check off a box in the electives category when I finish culinary. So, in other words, anytime you fill up a category with classes that you have taken, if you take more from that category, then they start filling up the elective boxes. All right. Did you earn credit for the class you took? If you passed the class with an A, a B, C, D, or P, P stands for pass, then you get to check off the box for your graduation requirement because you did pass your class. However, if you received an F or an NC, NC stands for no credit, you did not earn credit for that class and you would not check off a box on your graduation checklist. In addition to your credits, there are other requirements that students need to complete for their diploma. So I'm just going to briefly mention those. To start with, the first one is something called a graduation pathway requirement. Most students actually fulfill this requirement when they take the English Language Arts and Math SBA exams during their high school career. Although some students just don't do great on exams, and we know that, and that's okay because there are different ways that you can meet standard on your graduation pathway, and your school counselor will help you with that if needed. Also, most of you already took Washington State history in middle school, and you have already met standard on that requirement. Additionally, all students need to complete 20 hours of community service by the spring of their senior year. And then you will update your high school and beyond plan annually through your homeroom, activities. And then in the spring of your senior year, you will actually finalize your high school and beyond plan. All those additional requirements also contribute to your diploma. Okay, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. So there are some credits that count as a personalized pathway requirement. Think of these as slightly flexible credits depending on what your goals are for after high school. So if your plan right after high school is to go directly to a four-year college or university, in that case, you need to take at least 2 credits of a world language. So you would not replace these credits with anything else. You would take 2 credits of a world language at least. However, if your pathway is to go directly to a 2-year college after high school or a technical college or an apprenticeship, in that case, you could actually replace the world language credits and up to 1.0 of the fine arts credits with courses that may better match your career goals. So those are a little bit more flexible, but if you are planning to apply directly to a 4-year college, remember that you must take world language classes. Okay, so in just a few minutes, you're actually going to be tracking your own progress toward graduation. In order to do that, you need to get a copy of your class of 2024 graduation requirements checklist. So at this time, I think your teacher is copying the link for that checklist into the chat. When you click on that link, it will launch and automatically prompt you to save your own copy to your own Chromebook and your files. Additionally, if that doesn't work, you can find the link to your class of 2024 graduation requirements checklist on your homeroom Canvas page for today. So you're going to save a copy of that checklist, but leave it open because in just a few minutes, you're going to start checking off some boxes for the classes that you have earned credit in since first trimester of the school year. In order to take a look at the credits you have earned and the classes you passed, the next step is you will log into Skyward from the Hazen webpage. So all you have to do is go to Hazen, and then in the middle of the webpage, click on the grades icon and log into Skyward from there. If you need to reset your Skyward password, or you don't know how to log into Skyward, there are instructions on how to reset your password on your Canvas page for today, in your homeroom Canvas page. All right, once you've logged into Skyward, you're going to click on the Academic History tab, and that will bring you to a screen that looks much like this screen, although this example is from a 10th grader. So yours will say, actually, it will say grade 9, but it will list for you all the classes you're currently scheduled to take this school year. And then it will also show you in trimester 1 the grades you earned for the classes you took. So this is an example of a student who in trimester 1 took Algebra 2A and earned a B for that class. And all of the classes that the student took in first trimester have grades. So the student took Algebra 2A, and then they took AP World History A, and they took English Language 10A, Biology B, and Young Adult Literature. You'll also see your advisory listed here. And this is just one note. So advisory doesn't count for a credit. So when you're checking off boxes on your graduation tracking sheet, don't include the advisory, just to use all the other classes listed. Okay. Now, some of you also took some high school classes while you were still in middle school. So in the academic tab, when you scroll down a little bit, you can view your middle school grades too if you were in the Renton School District. And in this case, this is an example of a student who in 8th grade did take algebra. So there are 3 classes students might have taken in middle school that count for high school credit. Those are algebra, geometry, or Spanish. And in this case, this is an example of a student who did take algebra as an 8th grader, and therefore you can also check off the boxes on your graduation tracking sheet with those classes. But these are the only classes that count for high school credit that you may have taken in middle school. So only algebra, geometry, or Spanish if you took it in middle school. Okay. This is more of a side note and nothing that you need to overly worry about at this point, but just some information for you. Some classes that Renton School District offers and that students take at Hazen actually can count for 2 different types of credits. These are called cross-credited classes. Here's an example. So some students might be taking ceramics, and you'll see where that arrow is pointing. It says this course can be taken as a fine art credit or as a career and tech ed credit. So when you're checking off your box, if you took ceramics, you can choose to either check off a fine arts box or a CTE box. There isn't going to be a wrong answer at this point in your high school career. If you want to know more about the classes and what they count for, the easiest way to find that resource, if you go to the Hazen webpage, go to counseling, and then select the course catalog tab, you can look up all of the classes that you've taken and see what they count for in the course catalog. Okay, so it is time to track your progress toward graduation. So you're going to start by updating your own graduation tracking form. You'll put an X in the box for each class you passed first trimester. Remember that when you earn an A, B, C, D, or P, that you passed the class and you have earned half a credit, which is one of the boxes on your tracking sheet. You'll continue checking off all the classes that you've passed until your graduation tracking form is complete. And then I just want you to take some time to review your completed graduation tracking form and start to identify classes that you may need and want to take for the 21-22 school year. That will be your task in just a minute. So why are we doing this now? It's because it's already time to register for classes for next school year. So this week, if you have a core ninth grade language arts class this trimester, so language arts 9A or language arts 9B, a counselor will actually be visiting you during class and explaining the registration process. But some of you may not have a core ninth grade language arts class this trimester, but that's okay. So we have actually already emailed you in your Outlook email a list of all of the registration presentation opportunities, and you can join any one of those. In that email is also the Zoom link to hop into the registration presentations that you choose. Or if you can't find that email, you can go directly to the Hazen webpage, the counseling tab, and the registering for the 21-22 school year tab. Drop down to the class of 2024 information, and you'll find the registration presentation schedule there as well, and the Zoom link. So we want you to participate in at least one of those presentations. Join any one of those that's going to work best for you this week. Okay. So if you would now take time to track your own progress toward graduation, and we'll be seeing you in class this week. Thanks so much.